There are Egyptian American Muslim women. There are Egyptian American Muslim women, women terrorists, serial killers, talking in my head to the point that they are watering down their serial killers. They are stupid as fuck. I am done talking. I want them sentenced to fucking death. Do you hear me? I want them sentenced. See, I'm lisping. And I don't sound like this. They're causing me a stroke. The lisp is them causing me a stroke. Stroke. And they're calling me retarded. And they laugh at how they think we look retarded and dumb and uncoordinated. They are out of their minds. They think they're making us look stupid and not like they're actually murdering us. They are psycho. Me and a bunch of other targeted individuals that look like a bunch of schizophrenics screaming that we hear terrorists screaming in our heads. The terrorist women talking in my head are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. There are serial killers. There are records produced with the weapon that they're using to talk into my head, and they are trying to manipulate the records and bypass securities so that they can get the records destroyed because the system works on its own. It does not go under human review. The records go through the system, which goes through a set of tests to see if these records, my records, the records produced with the telepathy weapon, and by my records, I mean the records that are produced with the telepathy weapon that they're using to talk into my head, if in fact they are, if they sound suspicious, if it sounds like I was under attack by the people who quote unquote and claimed I needed investigating by using this and are using this weapon that they're using to talk and using this weapon, this telepathy, mind control, mind reading war weapon to 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 investigate me with. But instead, these psychos are talking in my head. They obviously, that is not permitted, okay? Because they can they can manipulate the records, make it sound like their voice is coming from outside. I mean, it's what they can do with the weapon is endless, okay? This is not one of those weapons. Everything is at these terrorists' disposal. If they're supposedly investigating, the government wants to make sure they have no excuse that what I'm hearing, okay, is where it could be, where it possibly could be coming from. So they have all. That's why we have everybody's house is public record. They can look up people's who owns what home to find out if they're talking, and if they're the ones talking, to identify the voices that I hear, whether they're internal or external, first and foremost, okay, so the investigation concludes as quickly as possible. On top of the fact, the system has all this information and it works literally at the speed of light. Okay? They're talking in my head in real time. They're screaming on top of the fact that the record, like I said, it times out it to make sure that these terrorists aren't over, they're not just sitting behind the weapon, um, and leisurely laundering money. On top of the fact, it's voice activated. So there are all these protocols and all these securities and there are records involved and the terrorists, and it's supposed to be reviewed by the system itself so that it's not a biased judgment of these terrorist records. And then, so these terrorists know the system. They know exactly how the securities, and they're trying to bypass them. They're screaming in my head, torturing me, trying to murder me. The rules are the laws based on the terrorist behavior, they're playing with my head. If I am having any neurological disorders, okay, schizophrenia, if I'm having seizures or strokes or anything of the sort, they have to conclude their investigations. Okay? Um, they can't just sit there and talk and investigate me with this weapon, first and foremost. Second of all, they're playing with my head. The stupid bitches are playing with my head. If I'm being attacked, which obviously, if anybody were to hear these terrorists talking in my head, it does not, at this point, it does not sound like I am it doesn't sound like I'm not, it sounds like I'm being attacked. I mean, they're talking literally every second of the day. Okay? If I'm being attacked, the terrorists have to conclude their investigations. I am no longer a suspect. I am a victim to a crime, and they have to turn over the investigation to the United States, and they will decide, the authorities, who will investigate whoever's attacking me. Okay? This is all that what I've gathered about this weapon, that they're, and the rules that govern over it. Based on what these terrorists are trying to do to me. They're trying to isolate me. They don't want me in. They want me out on the street so they could sound like the traffic driving by while they're screaming in my head to sound, to say, stupid bee, like it's someone driving by, and then like the voice kind of fades off as the cars drive by. They want to do weird shit like that to make it blend in and say, oh, they couldn't identify where the voices were coming from, since there's just traffic constantly driving by. So they traffic their victims into homelessness, poverty and homelessness, and steer them out in the streets. And they try to make them feel insecure about saying they hear them in their heads. So all the psycho, they're causing me a stroke right now, and that's fine, as long as whatever they do, it's going to convict them, as long as they can't bypass the securities and the records produced with my investigation get flagged for actual human review, so that these terrorists can get kicked off the system that they're on to use this weapon, and so that they can get investigated the same way. That's fine by me. If they murder me and it's obvious, that's fine. But as long as these psychopaths do not get away with murdering me. They are psycho trash. They're Egyptian American Muslim women serial killers. They are stupid. Okay, they want me to leave my condo, stop going to work, stop caring for my daughter. Look how they're like, I look handicapped. I actually look handicapped. I look homeless. I look only a few hairs short of being on the streets, dude. I look and sound it. They're causing me strokes. They didn't want me to learn about life insurance yesterday, because I could basically pay $200, $300 into a life insurance policy, a couple of them, and get paid out for my chronic illness. They don't want us to have money at all. They don't want us to have any type of security, because if we have money, we have security, we can travel, we can live, we can have a stable place to live, and then they have they can investigate to see if the neighbors hear what I hear, if they so they want me to be in a place where they can say, I can identify who the other homeless people are, and the people driving in the cars are. They're going back and forth, and it could have been any one of them, and like they want to traffic me out into the middle of the street, give up my condo. They want me to be promiscuous, and try to prove to them that I can get a man under these circumstances, under being like while being murdered, and my daughter being murdered by these psychopath terrorists screaming in my head, saying, ha ha ha, I want to watch you and your daughter die, bitch, over and over again. It's not there because I'm entitled to these records. Anyways, I don't want to go off. I'm entitled to the records produced with the weapon, and the way that the record works is that if people are entitled to they remain stored until that person is deceased, and there's no investigation, or there's no need to hold on to those records. And there's nothing suspicious about the records. So they're tying up the line so nobody else can investigate me to see if these terrorists actually had an investigation. They're trafficking me into homelessness. My daughter is safe. She's not. I do have a daughter. Anyways, so if at all I felt like I was going to harm anybody, I would check myself in. I've done it a gazillion times, and I did it when I wasn't going to harm anybody. I just checked myself in just for the simple fact that I just didn't feel well. I don't have a problem checking myself in. Look, they're making me snot. They're psycho. Like, they're delusional. They want to make people feel disgusted and not sorry that they don't want us to look like we're being murdered. They want us to sound and look like we're sick in the head and delusional, and like we don't take care of ourselves, and just they're playing with my head, and like we don't have good hygiene. They're playing with my head. I sound illiterate. They're causing me a stroke. It's the women. They made 98% of my hair fall out. They chipped my tooth. They're saying, ha ha ha, we're going to make your teeth rot, bitch. This is ongoing all day long. And it all because they don't want me making friends. Now I'm going to Bible study. I'm waking up regularly at 6 o'clock. I would like to wake up at 4:30. I would like to be in bed by 9. I would like my condos pretty much clean for the most part. On occasion, I do let it go till I have the cleaner come, but I think I can keep a system going. I'm at work regularly. Like I said, I want to get back to the gym, and now I'm attending a Bible study group, and I'm trying to make friends, and I want to maintain this schedule that I have. And then now I have to add on a couple other activities of taking my daughter to ROP and bring her back for tutoring, and I need to arrange with her dad rides from after school back and forth so that we can accomplish getting things done, and I can get back into a routine so I could they're playing with my head, the terrorists are playing with my head, so I can get back into the routine of going to the gym. I want to add that back into my schedule. I'm not going back to school. I've decided I'm done with school. I'm just going to focus solely on real estate to make it super clear that I have consistently been working at something, and the terrorists talking in my head are sabotaging me. Okay? So, anyways, I'm going to record, make it clear that what I hear I can't capture on this live stream. it's not coming from outside. The records that are produced with the telepathy weapon, I want to make sure there are layers. There are other records to layer with their records so that these terrorists can't manipulate anything. I want them sentenced to death. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. It has nothing to do with Islam, though. They are Muslim because, and that's the way to identify them. Their parents' birth certificates in Egypt. Our parents' birth certificates and our grandparents' birth certificates. If you were born in Egypt, period, it says you're Christian or you're Muslim. So that's just the way to identify them. It does not mean that this has anything to do with Islam or Muslims. This is strictly about these terrorists looking for a scapegoat so that they can turn innocent people, Muslim, Christian people, against each other. Okay? These are psychopath terrorists. These are psychopath terrorists. I am on meds. No, I can't lose my license. Okay, anyways, I gotta go. I'm going to. My face, by the way, is extremely swollen. Okay, this is so much swelling. They're pulling on the muscles. They stretch the skin in my forehead. I posted pictures so you could see how different I look ever since I started hearing these Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists screaming in my head. 98% of my hair fell out. They stretched the skin of my forehead. They chipped my tooth. They're making my face swell. These are psychopaths. I want them sentenced to death. They don't want me attractive to men. They don't want me attractive to market myself. And not to say that I want to go sleep around, because that's the last thing on my mind. But in case someone were to say, I don't care if you want to say Egyptian American Muslim terrorist all day long and actually still loves me whether I'm recording all day or not. I guess they still think I have the potential to do that. And because this will never stop, man or no man. On top of the fact, because I'm scared, I don't want them getting away with this shit. And then on top of the fact that I'm going to work. They don't want me marketing myself and hopping behind the camera and saying, hi, my name is Renee Loren. I'm a realtor and loan officer, and this is what I do, and I live in Orange County. And by the way, do you know that there is a LIPA program or a DSCR program or a this or that? Because they don't want me making it obvious that I'm innocently working. So while I'm at work, I live stream to make it, or I'll post a video of me at work and I'll post it to YouTube, or I'll post it to Facebook, and I'll make it clear, no, he does not help me. I'm literally on my own. And I'll make it clear every day, hey, I am innocently working. I'm sharing the same space. See, the terrorists are making me list space with other professionals. None of them hear the voices I hear. And they know I don't do drugs, and they respect me, they love me, they care for me. If they heard these terrorists, they would call the cops, and obviously there's nothing to investigate with me. So, because they would have been the first people to call. I mean, they all have families. Everybody cares for, first and foremost, for their own well-being, and then, of course, for their family's well-being. And nobody would sit in an office with me day in and day out for 6 years if they thought I was a danger. They would lock me up, or they would institutionalize me. So I want to make it clear that the terrorists talking in my head this is what they're saying, this is what they're doing, they're hurting me, like this is right now, I'm being hurt. I want to record, make it clear I can't capture their voices on my live stream, and I need to actually calm down because, and possibly if I start cussing, I'm going to have to cut this off. Most likely they're going to try to cuss me out to see if they could get me to respond to them and get me kicked off of YouTube. I want them sentenced to death. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists using a telepathy, mind control, mind reading war weapon to talk in my head, manipulate the records, bypass securities, and ultimately destroy the records that prove that they're psychopath terrorists that need investigating and sentencing to death. So I want to make it clear what I'm hearing in my head is not coming from outside. You go off, I'll hear it for as long as I can hear it, and then I'll just shut it off. Plus, you have everything at your disposal. So when they call me retarded, right now she's saying, haha, you're ugly, you're retarded. That's all means you're being murdered. Haha, we're murdering you. That's all they keep saying. In my head. You look old, you look fat, ha ha ha. Are you cold? Because they stop the circulation. They could literally cause me to have hypothermia and die. The only thing that you can have in it for me at this point is my money, okay? And to get the fuck out of my head and get the fuck out of my life. If you can't bring that to the table, there's nothing to discuss, and I'm going to continue to report and or explain. Understood? It's schizophrenia. I have schizophrenia. Everybody's saying it's schizophrenia. Alexa, remind me at 8:30 a.m. to go pick up my medication from CVS.
Okay, I'll remind you at 8:30 a.m.
learning, if I'm not enjoying my time with my daughter, because you have trouble with that, I'm gonna do it in next week with the sheriff and the secretary. There, there are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. They're making me, they're doing something to my eyes. My face is extremely swollen. Okay, and I don't know, like all this pulling on the muscles right here. My face looks weird. There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. It feels like someone is pulling me back. They're screaming retarded, ho, war in my head over and over again. Everybody is hearing me and they think I'm schizophrenic. They hear me and they believe it to fit the definition of schizophrenia. I'm gonna go pick up my lunch today. And they made me miss my appointment. Alexa, 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 at 9 a.m., remind me to call Pacific Neuropsychiatric Specialist.
Good morning, Elaine. Okay, I'll create a reminder at 9 a.m.
Look what they're doing to my face right here. This is them. The women are the ones who are clouding the men from thinking about what they have to do. They're just, this is, the women, dude, are fucking, they're a joke. It's the women. They need to go turn in The men need to go turn themselves in and start giving up information. They already know I'm done joking. I'm not joking. They're playing with my head and they're forcing words out of my mouth. What he was trying to say is you're joking.
Mostly clear skies. You can expect partly cloudy skies.
They know what to do. Their kids turn 18, they touch a dime of that money, they're considered terrorists. These are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my head with a war weapon. You can't hear them, only I can. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do something. Oh, I was gonna Yesterday I cooked for my daughter. So yesterday my daughter told me that there was this boy that she liked, and then apparently he got upset with her that he got upset with her because she's not as into him. Well, she liked him a little, like just like anybody. She met him at first, thought he was cute, and a couple weeks later she was like, he's actually not my type, and told him I want to be friends. And he wanted to keep pursuing her, and he said he invited her to well, he was hurt about it, but when you get rejected, you want to keep trying. So because you want to be the rejecter, so he kept trying to You told her, oh, let's go to, I still want to treat you to Orange County Fair. And she's 16. She doesn't know any better. So she's like, okay, let's go. We can be friends. That's great. Let's do it. And instead, he took her and they sat in a corner, didn't go on any rides, didn't do anything at all, and then left, which hurt my daughter. It hurt her feelings. And her best friend, Diana, went with a boy named Zeke, and they had a great time. And Leah really wanted to go with Diana. And the terrorists talking in my head keep laughing like, ha ha ha, we're hurting your daughter. Goodbye. I don't want UNCC here anymore. Mika, Mama, Mika. This is my baby. One of them. I have two. You're so annoying. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 7:12 a.m.
The women do not, the terrorist women, they're Egyptian American Muslim women. The women, they're Egyptian American Muslim women, terrorists screaming in my head, do not want me in any enclosed spaces where that to share with other people, professionals, non-criminals, non-drug addicts. Obviously, because they don't want it to be obvious they're talking in my head. There's nothing to investigate. Every time I do anything, they hurt me because it doesn't align with their agenda. The men are saying, "Stupid B, didn't we tell you you're gonna go do drugs and you're gonna go, go find you a man?" Like they want to shove down my throat. Like, no, we said you can't go to work. No, we said you can't sit at home. No, we didn't say you could watch TV. No, we didn't say you could go join a Bible study group. They're psycho. But apparently if they were to like actually for extended periods of time pick me up and force me to do anything, I think their records get flagged. So they just keep like attacking me where it's like short like electrocutions, like where someone's electrocuting you, but it's not like where someone's like zapping you with a what are they called, a taser. It's not like when a cop tasers you and they taser you till you drop. It's like short zaps, but they're depending on um how strong the actual attack is. It could cause my leg a Charlie horse. It could make all my muscles cramp at once. Okay, Mika, no more. Or it could just burn me and cause me a stroke, and I just sound like I'm hiccuping in my head. This is why I start to stutter. This is why Might look at my face. You could see how swollen it is from all of this. Mm. Mika, Mika, you are annoying, Mika. They're pulling on the muscles right here. Mm. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. They don't want you doing anything consistently because they don't want it to be obvious that they're attacking you with the weapon. So anything that requires too much of my focus, so I obviously with intent try to make sure to do activities for extended periods of time, because when I do, it shows that they're attacking me with the weapon. So that because they want me to do mindless things, so that it doesn't you can identify that I'm being attacked. And of course they want me doing drugs. They can all see how psycho you are, so you can get sentenced to death. You're right. So the terrorist talking in my head, she laughs, but she continues to attack me with the weapon, like as they're obsessed. They're obsessed with me. And she's trying to make it sound like, ha ha ha, this isn't a big deal, but clearly it is, because they're obsessed with me. It's like for her to even sit there and laugh is just, it contradicts what she's trying to say, and these are psychopaths. The women are straight up psychos. And they definitely don't like me, because if I take them to court, without a doubt, they're being sentenced to death. If this were to somehow miraculously end up in court, for damn sure they're done. I'm sentencing each and every one of them to death. There's nothing to discuss here. Yeah, I want to be involved with my family. I want to fall in love when I don't hear, once I have my money and I've seen you in court and I know you're being sentenced to death and your organization is dead. And there are no more terrorists. I'm done talking. She's a psychopath. No, sorry. I'm not going to stop saying it. There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. So right now they're burning my scalp right here. Oh, I have physical therapy today at 1 o'clock. You too? No, Mika. No, Mika. She doesn't like that. The women are hurting me. I don't know them. I've never done anything to them. I don't owe them anything. I don't know them. I have no idea who they are or what they look like. Um, and they're acting like we know each other. They're trying to manipulate the records produced with the weapon that they're using to talk in my head. These are cold-blooded murderers. Do you hear me? The women are really psycho trash. I'm realizing why they're doing that now. They want to make it sound like there's something to investigate when there's not. They're talking in my head. And they're trying to make it sound like I'm arguing with somebody I know, which I'm not. They want to pawn it off like what I'm hearing in my head is coming from outside on the records. So now it's two women, both of them are calling me. Every word, by the way, is an attack. I guess I am crazy. I don't know these people. The terrorists talking in my head are psycho. They want to make it sound like what I'm hearing is coming from outside. No, I will not be homeless. So, with all of their victims, okay, they want them to look for alternative ways, alternative medicine. They want them on drugs because if they have a drug conviction and they want to have them caught up so that they can't get housing or any kind of assistance, primarily housing. So they keep screaming in their head, and then mind you, now I'm realizing for health insurance, my life insurance policy, I have to have one clear medical record. But they don't want their victims to get housing. They don't want them to get life insurance. They don't want them to get anything. Social Security. So they keep telling them we're real people in your head. And the ha ha ha, the doctor's trying to drug you. Of course I wasn't manipulated by that. I go see my psychiatrist. And I go seek medical attention. Facts, exactly. I do. I admit I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. I don't know. I believe this is what I really believe. I believe if you're being attacked by your head and it hasn't come forward, these weapons, nobody knows about them yet, and the government has called it schizophrenia, it's because they want to make sure that the terrorists can't blame what they're doing on other people. Part-time And anyways, why is that any of your business? No, of course I do.
Welcome to
That's right,
Market
manipulate
News.
it.
Here's what we just got for you.
Just like
16 minutes ago, Congress changed the rules around charitable giving. You'll now save more money if you donate earlier in the year. 17 minutes ago from I didn't know what else to do, patients take their health insurance battles to Facebook and LinkedIn. 29 minutes ago from CNBC, the U.S. is looking to scale defense manufacturing and chip away at China's drone dominance.